Hello there, my friends, and welcome to my nest. I'm Kate, and yes, I'm having a happy home day. And as you can see, this is my home nest. I've got some bits and pieces to share with you. And as always, thank you for joining me. If you're a new subby, welcome, welcome. If you've been with me for a while, thank you, as always, for sharing your precious time with me. So, I wanted to say that part of being back is always reflecting on what I've done and what I've learned and where I'm going next. So my mind is shifting to sharing with you the February update on my Hope Tote. I've got my Wellington nest here, and of course my little horsewhip needle roll, whatever we want to call it, is now a regular part of my lineup because it just works. So just before I turn the camera on, I thought, where are my needles? And of course, they're in my needle keep in this delicious roll. And fingers crossed, there might even be, there's some threads and even a fricks, whatever that is called, and a bit of fleur wool. So speaking of fleur, I'm going to be sharing an influence. Is it called an influence or something that I picked up from my time with Fleur that I haven't done before, and that is using ribbon in my slow stitching. Now, I know many of you have been doing this for ages. Are they the only two I brought down? Maybe. I had to go to the shop today, even on my happy home day. That's part of the being happy and home. I bought more than these two colours. Oh, here's another one. They're in my nest. And some of these Goldie cottons. Okay, so that's my Wellington nest. You'll hear more about that in future videos, but I did a little Insta on that and the response has been lovely. I've got my nest here packed with scissors and wool, layer upon layer. So let's get into it. So how are you going? How are the projects progressing? I've missed talking to you, but you know why. But I have been thinking about this community and how blessed we are. And as we who went on the green door settle into home or back to work, as I have been the last 2 days, it's just like a whirlwind. So where am I up to on the Hope Tote? That is February. That was January. Here's February, which it is a skinny side, which is useful. If you've been following all along, you may know that I made a change for February. I realized I'm not someone who can give, my brain just does not work like this. And if it's not working for you, I don't want you to not have it work for you either. So by the end of February, I have suggested that this is the side that's called the O side. So we're going H, O, P, and E for hope as a theme for the different sides. And this is the O side, and I've suggested that we have a colour that starts with O. And by way of the beautiful Maureen from New Zealand, she gifted me this bark cloth. I'm not sure whether I showed you, but it had these flowers on it. They're not flowers actually, they're even fruity. And I did note that they were both orange and olive. So there we go. I've got that as the feature flower, well, colour, but it happens to be a flower. And speaking of flowers that start with O, I have chosen to use this beautiful orchid. Now, I did have a little bit of trouble working out which way it went. I've done it this way because those flowers, well, those leaves, bubbles, whatever they were going over here. So what is underneath was some linen that I got in the amazing store called Small Acorns in Wellington. It's called Society of Wanderers. It is expensive because it's European flax linen. So I just bought the table napkin. I have already shared it with others, and it's now going to be a theme piece in this. So always looking for ways to access beautiful fabric, and we're not finding that in a thrift shop anytime soon because it's just out, but it's not stopping me from using it and sharing. So that's there. I've started to do a bit of stitching and a little bit of embroidery on various pieces. So we know that, you know, we patchwork, we collage, then we embellish in different ways, layer upon layer. This is one of my scrappy bits that I had on whole when I was in New Zealand, and last night I chopped in half. I just felt there was too much of this beige, and I still think there is, so I thought today we'd have a look at that. And then I put a little bit of this vintage fabric on there too. Around the table, I'm just looking at what's just in my nest. I have this cut work that's been used in many of my pieces, and it could build layers and textures. I've got a little bit of this pink ticking that I'm feeling. I'm thinking I might need to, actually, why don't I use flowers? So I've got a little bit of the blanket showing down here, and I'm not, I think I would like to cover that. And similarly at the top, I've got some still to go. So there'll be a frill or a fringe or something. My husband asked me, well, what other O's are you going to do? So we've had a flower starting with O. We've got colours starting with O. And he said, don't you usually do words? And yes, on this side, we've got hearts and hope. And so I said, I don't know of many words that start with O that match with the theme. So he got on Google and he's found me optimism, which I like, but that's a long word. And then the one that then he found organic, but the one that I love is open, because I think that is part of our creative journey. And what I'm experiencing now is being open to opportunities. And I know that the many of you who make comments and share where you're up to, either on the kin or via comment here or a message on Instagram, I think that's probably a theme that runs through, like being open to trying new things, learning new things. And that's why I'm going to be open to showing you in a minute, for the first time, how I use ribbon. I did have my example that I did on Fleur Day in my Fleur textile book, but I haven't brought that down to the nest. So that's an oversight, for which I apologise. So we'll just have to start from scratch. So I love things like this because we get such value. There we are, there we've got the ribbon already. I'm not going to use the green, but I'm looking for, in this garden, what flower do we need? We need this one. I've been thrilled to see that many of you have been interested in my thrifting video from Wellington. It was so exciting to go fossicking and treasure hunting in a new place. There we are. So I'm just looking at these green, do I need these green leaves? So I've kept them on for the start. So we want to go flower to flower. There's a flower from another work underneath there. Let's join that stem onto that stem. And I'm not really worrying that that is over the top. Well, I am going to now, because there's a little bit of wool that I've stitched and doesn't deserve to be covered. So that can be peeking out there for texture. So yes, I've been just woke up feeling like it was Christmas this morning because it's the first day. I think I counted up in 14 days that I haven't had to get up and be out the door by a certain time. And all of those have been beautiful experiences, but I wonder if you relate to that. Just having a day where you can go, I'm actually not due anywhere at a time. My reward to myself was I just said I'm going to celebrate by staying in bed and stitching. So I've done that. And then I've been out and about to the thread shop. And I feel fantastic for it. And now I'm here. Why am I doubling that? I don't really need to, except it's very long. So why don't we double it? So before we get to ribbon, because I actually don't know where I'm going to use the ribbon yet, let's get this flower on. I'm loving this needle, which I think has ended up being one that I got on Amazon at Sarah Tovey from Thread and Connect's recommendation. And all of a sudden, I like the strength, I like the length. I can still, it's not a huge eye, but I can manage to thread it. And so it's my favorite at the moment. So I need to do a shout out to all of you from New Zealand. Thank you for having us over there. We were treated so well. And I came home on Sunday because I had to work on Monday, but New Zealand did put on a bit of a display for quite a number of the girls. Poor Maureen was stuck in Wellington for 2 more nights. A lot of the Aussie girls were flying out on, I think it was by Monday that, well, I think it came in on Sunday evening. I've lost track of the days now. But anyway, we'd had perfect weather for our stay. But many a local Kiwi said, oh, you've had great weather. It's not always like this. So some of us have now experienced what those people were talking about. And I'm sure Missy at some point, from Missy Made This, will have a video to share with you. But she hasn't actually said that, so please don't hold her or me to that. so that's down for the moment. I can come back and do more to that. And for the moment, so Fleur showed me how she uses ribbon for the center of flowers and how to really make them pop. So for the moment, I think, because these are the colors I've got, oh, maybe I was going to say I'll go back to that side of the bag, but surely I could just make up a flower on this side. So this will come off and tangle. I need to wind it onto something straight away, but I will spare you my adventures of doing that. I just want an end for the moment. Maybe I did show you a bit of this before, but probably what I'm trying to say is I'm very excited to start to include this in my toolkit of stitches of things that I do to embellish. And as I said, the why I never even thought about it was A, how do you thread the needle, and B, is it shiny and like traditional grub flowers? And of course the answer is no to all of those. Okay, so what I'm going to try is making this yellow bit here into a flower. It is a floral, but it's indistinct. So I don't want to come, oh, I couldn't, it's a long way through. So I'm just going to pull this all the way. And then go up there. And then just start to spoke it out. And I've watched other people do this, but it wasn't until, I suppose we have to be ready, don't we, and open. It's so soft and smooth. I have had this colour stream. I think Corinne uses it. And I'm sure a lot of YouTubers use it. Fleur had hers on little spools, and which held a lot more. So I'm going to see if I can source some of that. And it might be ready for my Perth workshops to share. There we are. Oh, where is it? Suddenly that looks blurry to me, but might be my glasses. So there we are. We've made that little flower there. And still, because I've got plenty of ribbon, let's go somewhere else. Go traveling. See if I can turn this into more of a flower shape, and even maybe like a pansy. I mean, look at me. Because I've been in a workshop surrounded by people who have all these special bits. It's rubbing off on me. don't know whether that's going to make an ounce of difference. It's so humid here. I'm sweating, everyone. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just thinking flower. And I am only going through this linen and a little bit of the blanket, not through to the innards of the bag. So that makes it beautiful and soft to be stitching. There we go. Sort of like a water lily. Worries me that that's sort of upside down to there. But I need to do a third something, seeing I've got this in the needle. Let's go over here. And fill this one in and see if I can go a bit flatter. Oh, I don't mean to go through that. So yeah, how is your February looking? Has it been as you expected? Or some surprises? I hope everyone's in good health. My mum actually, while I was away, got I was going to say a virus. She actually got a cough and she's been on antibiotics, but I've been talking to her every day and she is really on the mend. There we are. So nothing particularly distinctive, just adding. Now I'm just going to cut that there just so that you're not left with the picture of that hanging down. The needle fell off. Right, so we're going to think also about being open. What I didn't do before was plan where to put. Just seeing a little bit of that. So funny, all of a sudden I've got a sort of a purpley theme coming, or a blue one. I want to get a nice trim. Oh, look at that. It's too long since I've done some beading. I love that. And I'm not up to it yet. I'm just going to pin that in place for the March side. And that's why, I don't want to say it over and over, that's why we're not sticking to waiting for me and instructions, because creativity and the bits that come to us. Actually, that was from Fleur as well. Okay, so I'm going to put that there because that's got a New Zealand reference for me, and I want to see if I can embroider the word open, and let's write open. was just thinking, could you hear me thinking how brave I'm getting now to think of even trying to embroider a word, let alone showing you as I do it. I'm just letting my eye do. I'm thinking it's a little bit, even though I've coloured that. See, this is what happens with me. I think the background, okay, that's a bit of Michelle's fabric, and she was on the tour. And what if I do open on there? Don't need the green. Yeah. Now, because I've just written the word open before for you, I'm not going to bore you by doing that again, but you can see that little area is going to have the word open in it and be onto Fleur's flower. Or do I just try? Got this beautiful. Will it show up in that? I'd like it to, but while I think about it, we're going to do something else. That's that poor little chicken's foot. Okay, one moment while I find a needle. So we're treating this. I hope you can see it's a bit overcast now. We're treating, if I put that up there, I'll have to move the open. I want to treat this like a flower, is what I'm trying to say. And leave a bit of the frill out there. So let's just put it there. Just go over the spokes. I'm actually going to stand up to do this because the light is not good. You can probably see my hands too close, but so I was just thinking about, you probably won't see me until the weekend. Because I'm working the next 2 days in Canberra. Actually staying overnight there, which will cut down on some of the travel for me. So this is my way of putting things down. I just chat along and follow my heart. because on a piece like this, there's plenty of holes already made for us by the crochet itself. And when you look at it from a distance, which is what will happen because it's going to be used as a carry bag, the impression is that you don't get up close, and even if you do, the style is enough that it blends in. I need to say well done to all of those sharing their work on the Kin Facebook page. Like, that is a glorious piece of art, girls. So thank you, because it inspires all of us. And so in a similar way, if you're working on anything, it doesn't have to be the Hope Tote, and you want to show someone, if you've got that nice feeling inside saying, I like this work, or even if you don't like it and you need some advice or help, I'm just so proud of that Facebook group and the fact that I don't think anyone goes uncommented on, because everyone is so kind and responds to the share. Okay, now I've still got some of this cotton left, so why don't, in real rustic style, I'm just going to keep on going so that I can attach the little tag that at this point I'm intending to say open. So now I've still got thread left. This is what I do. You may not, but this is the way my mind thinks. I've got that flower, joining it to this flower, and this bit isn't stuck down yet, so what would stop me just coming across with this thread and up here and down again there, and anchor it on this side. Why don't we, because I've got a few little bits there, I just thought, why don't we do a French knot to celebrate? One, two, can I get a third one? Yep. There we go. Okay, that's been a good little stitching session for me. thank you for your company. So look at that. In the blink of an eye, our O side it's complementary, but there's a difference in the colorways. More orange, purple up here for the orchid, and we're going to add on the word open, and then I'll probably show you it at the end of February. She's got to come to Perth with me because I fly on the 1st of March, which is a wonderful opportunity to collect the next bunch. So there you are, my friends. Thank you, as always, for being here. Please take care, keep well, and happy creating. Bye.